morning. Good morning, Saturday schoolers. Morning, morning, morning. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you jumping on. Saturday morning comes around again. If you're jumping on, say hello in the chat so I can see that you're there. And let me know. Hello, Mark. Nice to see you. Let me know. Tell me something interesting about the last week. Maybe you've achieved something. If you're proud of something this week, put it in the chat. Hi, Hazel. Or perhaps you've learned something or saw something interesting. Someone was telling me something interesting this week, actually, about how on International Women's Day, they created a bot. And then when the companies were sharing about International Women's Day, this bot would reply really quickly and say, oh, that's very well, but why is the pay gap in your organization so wide between men and women? And so I just thought, oh my word, it's like a bot is I mean, seriously, so then what the companies were doing, the companies were deleting the tweets because they're like, happy International Women's Day, and then this bot was saying, yes, but you're not very good with your pay for women, or whatever it was. So yeah, so bots can do lots of things. So yeah, if you're jumping on, let me know this week if there's anything that you're proud of achieving, anything interesting you've read that you'd like to share, maybe a book you're reading. Let's see if there's something interesting to pop in the chat as you're jumping on. Morning, Hazel, and morning, Mark. Nice to see you. Hi, Peter. How are you? So yeah, share anything interesting in the chat. Hi, David. Nice to see you in Derbyshire. Did you have snow? Anybody have snow this week? I didn't have any snow, but yes, it's been really cold. In fact, this is another thing I could share with you. This looks like a mouse, but it's actually a heated hand warmer. It's really, really good, and it charges. You can also charge your phone with it. So it's super warm. So it's keeping me warm. You learn so much on Saturday school. Anyway, so hi, Michael from Nigeria. No, you're not late. I'm just saying, if you've got something exciting to share for your week, share it now, or anything interesting you learned. This week, actually, I signed off on a book that I've been part of, that I've been leading for our community. So that's coming out on the 29th of April. It's going to be fabulous. So that was a whole learning and leaning into curve to work out about doing a book, but that's really good. So, well, nobody's sharing much. Hello, Edward. We're back, same time, same channel. This is us, Edward, every week. After this, it's not me for a few weeks, so you can have some other goodness in here. But this is the final week of me. Well, today is, well, not the final week, but this, I'm not here next week. I say that, and then someone drops out and they just ask me. So today we are going to talk about something. What book? Oh, the book. So I run a community called Like-Hearted Leaders, and basically it tells the stories of leaders. And the idea is that other leaders, because I believe everybody's a leader. It's not just somebody who has that title. I think we've all got, if you've got a heart, you can be a leader. And the book is called On a Friday, and it tells 27 stories of leaders, all different businesses, all purpose-driven. It's got a foreword by the guy I was speaking about last week, David Hyatt from the Do Lectures. He's written a foreword, and it's a proper coffee table book. In fact, it looks like this type of book. This is the Do Lectures. This is their yearbook, and it's really thick, and it's got like in fact, it's thicker than this book, but it's this kind of book. It's not one of those boring books like demonstrated behind me. So yes. Excellent. Right. I make you laugh. Okay. Well, I'm glad I make somebody laugh. I'll try and continue. Right. Back onto it, Claire. So after me, we've got Antonio coming up, and he's in America, I think, somewhere. So it's going to be 6 a.m. So he's probably asleep at the moment. He's built several 6 to 7 figure businesses, and he's worked with industry leaders, including Robert Kiyosaki, Les Brown, Bob Proctor, and Bob Doyle from The Secret. So he's going to share how he's helped thousands of entrepreneurs around the world. And he's known as the profit engineer. That's the quick kind of intro to him. So he's coming up after me. I don't know if he's funny. Probably not. He's probably very efficient. So yes. But we are talking about making a change, the entrepreneur journey, and creating a life you love. Because I honestly, truly believe that it's definitely about mindset. as opposed to having all the methodologies and the 3-step systems and all that malarkey. So I'm just going to share a few things, probably in a different way from how I shared before. Some of the content you might have heard me say, but it's really important. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And this is the question for everybody. So if you're on this webinar this morning, you're thinking you want to be somewhere else, don't you? Like you're either working loads of hours or you are doing something you hate and you want to be somewhere else. So maybe that is having more free time, lying on a beach. Maybe it's changing your career. All of those types of things. It's about that progression from where you are now and where you want to be. And quite often it feels like, how am I going to get there? How am I going to make these changes? And where's that magic blueprint? What's Michael talking about? WrestleMania. I know nothing about WrestleMania. I don't know about WrestleMania, but we could talk about wrestling. Like if you want to be a wrestler, we could move you along from that position. So this is what we're all looking for. We're looking for that magic blueprint. And obviously, if you're here this morning, you're into progressing and learning, and you've got a growth mindset, which is all really, really good if you want to move yourself forward from where you are. So it's really, really important that you know where you want to go, because for example, my daughter at the moment, she is writing. I don't know what's quite happened. She's got up and she's doing English. No television. She's been doing it since about 8 o'clock. It's 10 now. So she's been 2 hours of English. And she's trying to write a story. And the thing that's really, really important is the fact that you have a plan and you know where you're going. So she wrote one story last night. I'm not quite sure what's happened to her. She's just got into this. Right, I'm going to do it. So last night she wrote a story. And then she kind of lost her way with it. And she said, oh, it doesn't really work properly. And so she started again this morning, and now she's planning. And she's got the introduction, she's got the characters, and then she's got this plan, and then it'll be so much easier to plan it out. So that's the thing. It's like, where do you want to go? You need to have that clarity and that purpose of where you want to be. So think about, if you're making notes, think about what are the good things in your life now. And quite often it's about leaning more into things that are working at the moment, as opposed to trying to just completely jump into a new space. So if you are really enjoying doing more, so for example, you probably have got skills that you don't even know you've got. So a friend of mine who's a business entrepreneur in America, she has a business and she wants to get more engagement in her business. And somehow because she witnessed it through a different way, she said to me, Claire, you can write things really easily. You're really good at writing copy. You're really good at connecting. And she said, I know you can do this. So she gives me the stuff and I do it. And I did it for her. And I wrote this email sequence. And to me, it wasn't that hard. She's totally blown away. She's like, how on earth did you do that? And that's one of those skills that she said to me, oh, you can do this. I was like, can I? And clearly I can. So, and this is the really important thing. The other thing is I realized years ago, well, only by accident, I could write poetry and like, funnily enough, funny jokes kind of stuff, like, yeah, things, joke things, not jokes, but like poetry jokes. You know, like I knew someone called Rob. He was really good with his dog, you know. I don't think why I start these things. But the point is you've all got skills inside you that you could lean into, and you might not even know they're there. So don't feel despondent if you're feeling a bit like, I'm not sure. Consistency is super duper key, because the consistent way that we make the way we move forward with things is by doing little and often. So if you decided, okay, I'm going to get into exercise, I'm going to do 2 hours a day, it's not unachievable, but it's really, really unlikely that you're going to carry on doing 2 hours of exercise every day from now on. However, if you can commit to doing 5 minutes tomorrow, 5 minutes the next day, it's much more achievable. And those little steps will lean up, and then you'll get into the momentum of doing it. And then you will probably increase it to half an hour a day, an hour a day, that kind of thing. What was I? Stand up. You saw me at an event. Goodness me. Sam's got an event. I told you I can't go there this time. I was hilarious, was I? Oh my gosh, maybe I should do stand up. Oh dear, Mark. You write poems as well. Last one was at my mum's funeral. Oh, that's sad though, isn't it? But it's beautiful that you could do that for that occasion. So, you know, Fiona, I think I'm going to keep that comment. I'm hilarious. Stand up. Anyway, yes, I might get slapped by Will Smith. Actually, that's something I've talked about this before, but you know, when you're leading into something new, so the first time I did a presentation, I said something and it wasn't mean, but it was maybe a bit, it could be misinterpreted, should I say. And you just learn from that. Like, okay, well, don't say things like that. I mean, it wasn't that bad, to be honest, but yeah, but I haven't ever been slapped by anyone like Will Smith. I haven't met Will Smith either. So, routes to change. What do you think about that, though? That is the amygdala, isn't it? Have you read The Money Chimp? That's where the bit of your brain just goes crazy and he just goes and does it. And then afterwards he's like, that was not a good idea. It was not a good idea, was it? Well, it was not a good idea. Anyhow, so if you want to change your life, quite often there are points in your life, and this is all my experience, my own experience. No, not all of it. I haven't done all these things. I'm just saying, like, things often happen in people's lives at those pivotal points. So they might have a career break if you have children, that type of thing, redundancy. And sometimes there's that expression like, life is not happening to me, it's happening for me. So if things are going wrong in your life at the moment, or there's things that don't seem, you just think, oh, why is this happening to me? It's actually happening for you. It's taking you on a different path, is my belief. So leaning into that is something that can help you as you move through this transition. So all of these things can move you into a new route. So have a think about how things have changed in your life, and then use that as an opportunity. And that's it. It's all about looking out for opportunities, and things that look bad at first sight are often opportunities for something better. So I think I've shared this picture with you before, but in case you haven't seen it, this is me at my desk working as a solicitor. I say working, loosely working, because I didn't have much work. And so I was just doing other stuff. It was so boring. It was just so boring. And then in 2013, that was when my first book came out, Membership Sites. And I think that event could have been the event then I did my first, I think it was actually, I think it was in that room. I think that's when I spoke for the first time. And it was okay, but it wasn't like my best effort because I'd only done it. That was the first time I'd done it. So this is the point. It's like you can get from where you are to somewhere else. And like I keep saying every week, I'm not special. So we're all special, I think, but I just think don't feel like you're stuck. And if you are feeling stuck, there is ways forward. And then I don't know if this was the event you're at, Fiona, but that was the I think it was a business boot camp. There's probably like 300 people there. So yeah, you can progress from the tiny room to the big room, and yeah, it's a big progress. So I want you to remember this. Yeah, definitely, like, keep your mind busy, and how can you grow every day? Because the humans, one of sort of human needs is about growth and contribution. And so if you think about, if you've ever come across Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we need warmth and shelter and food. That's right at the bottom. Then we move up the scale about things we need, and we need love and connection, and these are the things that make us feel more connected as humans. So now, whatever's happening in your life today, some of it, probably a lot of it, will be unconsciously, but will have been shaped from your experiences from the day you were born. So on the left, for example, that's a picture of me as a baby. And probably about that time, maybe that's what the flowers are, I had a sister who was stillborn at 8 months. And so there was probably a lot of upset in the family, and it would rub off on you, because even though you can't remember it now, things happen. So it will shape me how I am now. That's me at my birthday party. Always cried at birthday parties, always, just couldn't cope with it. So pretty much me now as well. I mean, I don't actually cry that much, although I was watching The Apprentice with the children, and they're like, and then what was she called? I don't know, one of them, I can't remember which one it was, but she started crying in the interview, and the children were like, that'd be you, mummy. So it would not, so would be me. So yes, think about, this is where everything starts from. And if you are experiencing things in your life, look back at what happened during your childhood, because this is where the conditioning begins. There's then serendipity. And this is obviously Simon, a long time ago. If he ever watches this, he was about 20 then, I think. I don't know how old he was, but it's a good picture of him. He looks older now, as do I. Let's not be mean to Simon. But I came across Simon, and you could say it was law of attraction, as in around the same time I was introduced to this film, which is called The Secret. If you've seen The Secret, let me know. Oh yes, Stephanie cried. Yeah, she did cry, didn't she? And Brittany, that was it. Brittany did as well. Now he's writing poems. Your poem. There was a young fella called Rob who was really a bit of a slob. He was often quite bad to his poor mum and dad. He even sold Gran for 10 bob. Very good, Hugh. Excellent. We don't need to do anything else on these webinars. We just need to write poetry. Excellent. So yeah, you might have hair on that picture actually, John. Look, he might have. Look in this spot here. He's got some hair on his ear as well. Right, let's not stop. Let's not be mean to Simon. The point is if you have a positive mindset, and if you know what I was saying earlier on about having that vision and I want to get here. So in the past, for example, I really had this strong, I just wanted to work for Dent, who it was the business Dent Global, headed up by Daniel Priestley. Daniel Priestley's written Key Person of Influence and 24 Assets and Entrepreneur Revolution, all of those things. And I really wanted to work for Dent. I was like, this is an amazing business. And to cut to the chase, I did. And not only did I work for them, but Daniel Priestley himself said to me, Claire, will you come and run it in the community? Because I don't trust anybody else to run it. So when you think about things like the law of attraction and serendipity, some people say it's not a thing, but it all ties up. Like things you think, you attract. And we spoke about it last week about the people in your circle. It's so important who you're around. Now, the law of attraction leaves out bits, because when I watched the law of attraction, I wrote this stupid thing like I'm going to win the lottery or something. It doesn't work like that. You have to put action into things as well. And the lottery is just chance. Anyway. So this video was the first time I clapped eyes on Simon Coulson. And I didn't want to watch the video. I was introduced to watching the video and I was like, oh God, I gotta watch this video, this boring man. And I watched the video and I was like, wow, this is great. And that was the beginning of my journey. So which shifted me from being a solicitor to going on Simon's course for 3 days. And then I just thought, this is amazing. I'm like, this is what I should be doing because I really enjoy this stuff. So this is the 3-day diploma. And there's me actually, not on the first, I didn't speak at the diploma I went on, obviously, but this was a few months later, like speaking. Actually, I had not noticed this before. Look, there's Simon. Look, he's in the corner there, checking I'm doing it right. It's quite a lot of people, wasn't it? Let me loose on stage. But this is it. It's like following those breadcrumbs. So think about what excites you. This is so important, like things that excite you. Right. By exciting, I mean books, podcasts, new hobbies. I don't mean like meeting new people and getting super excited in the wrong way, but sometimes new people as well. But follow the signs. So I did the course with Simon. And I thought, wow, membership sites, this is amazing. I loved it. And I was just drawn to that part of the course. And that's what I leaned into initially. And I concentrated on membership sites, which led me to building communities later on down the line. I then was excited about culture, business culture. And then I got introduced to a guy who taught me all about business culture, who's like one of the best business culture people in the world. So, but that's because I lent into everything that was exciting. So apply this to your life. So this is just my personal example, but I want you to take these things for you as you move through the day and through the weeks that come up from this talk, because it doesn't matter any of this. This is my journey. Your journey will not be like my journey. However, it's the same for everyone. It's about following breadcrumbs and doing things that feel exciting. And I've spoken to and hung out with a lot of people, successful people, people who have run different paths to me, all kinds of different things. And this is how it happens. It's about taking opportunities, and it's about following things that are exciting to you. And it's about starting. Like, I look at stuff like this, I just tried stuff like that picture, for example, of me. Let's talk about membership. That picture was taken by my brother. That's the side of a lorry. It looks like some kind of, it looks like it's from a photo shoot, but it wasn't. It's just like, just do stuff. It's not perfect. That actually is the first time I sold a copy of my book, that one. And I got puffy eyes because the day before I was crying so much because I was like, what am I doing? So it's not all easy peasy. It's just like there is a journey to go. So take opportunities, like I was saying. So Simon said, do you want to speak on stage? Did I want to speak on stage? No, I didn't. I was scared, really scared. Still do get scared sometimes, but I did it. At the bottom is Pitch Fest, where you pitch a business. I wasn't even completely sure at this stage what my business was, in front of a room of entrepreneurs. Now that is on YouTube somewhere, I think. I mean, I just do not want to watch that. But anyway, I came second. I was a runner-up. That's Daniel Priestley. He asked me to work for him. This was speaking at an event for a guy called Martin Norbury, who I met through another event. He got me to come and speak at his event to other entrepreneurs who, a lot of them I was just like, wow, you're amazingly successful. And I'm standing at the front. And this is Robbie, who taught me all the culture stuff. That's as in ING and Shah and Simon. So the point is I started as a solicitor, but I took opportunities. I helped at events for free, all of these kind of things. So how can you apply these to your life? And how can you get, when you think back to that first question I posed, where you want to be in the future, how can you move yourself? How can you move the needle a little bit further? So maybe if you want to be a speaker at an event, can you help at that event before and build relationships before you need them? Like I've said, you need to know, or you need to have great people around you, because they will not only have great networks themselves, but they will help you on the journey of getting you towards where you want to be. So who's in your inner circle of influence? It's so important that you have good people in there who are there to support you on the journey. This is me at a business mastermind in Palm Springs, which was really awful. But it's just like you just meet people. In fact, Lindsay, who was saying about the copywriting, who I did the copywriting for this week, that's where I met her, and I speak to her every day. So but she runs a super successful business. Why was it awful? I was just being sarcastic because it's so beautiful. Palm Springs is like amazing. It was so nice. I had an amazing pool. All those pictures of me in pools were taken in Palm Springs. So amazing. So mentors, so important. I've said this before. I haven't even got room for all my mentors. I've had like so many mentors, and there's different ones. So like Alan Wick's a business mentor, Rick's a book mentor, Alexi's a business mentor who actually wanted me to work with her. Jackie is mindset. She does flow and releasing unlimited beliefs and that kind of stuff. Jules Schroeder, she runs Unconventional Life, which is retreats and business accelerators. Justin, again, mindset. That's Martin Norbury, Daniel, Robbie, Stephanie, she does NLP. Again, mindset. Andrew Davis, he was one of the first people who worked at MySpace and Pop Idol and stuff like that. So I'm friends with him. Preston, again, he is mindset coaching. Another book coach of mine, Hannah, she works in corporate. So like it's so important to have a wide range of mentors. I cannot stress that enough. It's so, so important. I don't know what my aside was. Thank you, Fiona. A brilliant timing. My gosh, got a new career to do, Fiona. You could be in my tribe. So these are all the things. Sometimes I have to be careful because this is recorded though, isn't it? And then I forget. It's going to be, someone's going to watch this. Someone's going to watch it. I'm like, Claire, why did you say that? I just feel like it's just me and you, Fiona and Danny and Edward. It's just us, but it's not, is it? It's a whole world. Right, moving on. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Here are your friends. This is Lindsay. She hates this picture. I know. I mean, I'm not quite sure about her hair, to be honest. Again, she might see this. I tell her that. She hates the picture. But think about who your friends are. She's got a super duper successful business. And if I need help, she helps me. She says, Claire, you need to do this. She's great at planning. She's just a great person to have in your tribe. This is one of the biggest things. Like if you are moving and you want to move from where you are now and it's going to shift. So for me, I'd taken the traditional route, had a university education, qualified as a solicitor, got married, had children. And then I went through this whole change going on Simon's course, and I didn't want to get out of the car when I went to Simon's course. I was too scared. I was in London, I was on the M25, and I was thinking, this is crazy. I mean, I was so insulated in my life before this. And then in a couple of years, I was traveling around the world, Bali, America, Amsterdam, just random places. On my own. I was speaking at events around the world, so it's kind of crazy. The problem is, it's not really a problem, but the problem is that you change. So people, I was totally scared going on Simon's course. So we get to the car park and I'm like, lock myself in the car, and I was like, I'm not getting out yet. And like, can we check in yet? We can check in. And I was like, oh my god, we can check in. We can check in. We're in London. We can check into the hotel. And I went into the hotel and then I looked around and they were setting up one of the rooms. I was like that. And now I'm just openly, publicly just slated hair in public, don't I? I mean, I've known him that far. I've known him that long. It's fine. I think. But he never watches these. He's too busy singing. He's got a new album out. Don't forget to check that out. Something about some strings or something. Oh, look, stick dogs. Yes, I was scared of his course. I haven't seen a stick dog before. That's a good graphic, isn't it? I think I'm feeling really creative, wasn't I, doing these slides? Anyway, as I was saying, you change. You're not the same person anymore. You get out of car parks in London. You travel across the world, random places. You meet new people. You are open up. One of my mentors said it was just like he opened up a rabbit hole. I just kept going deeper and deeper into this rabbit hole of, like, if someone says something to me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to explore this. If it feels exciting and interesting, I just explore it. And I've got a really open mind. And I just keep looking and I keep searching and I keep learning. And so what happens is you aren't the same person, and the people around you, it can be a struggle for them. And so one of the downsides is you lose friends, or when I say lose, you get new friends who are more aligned with you. So I had a whole bunch of friends who kind of just dropped away, and that really hurts. So for example, there was a whole load of friends who were around when I had children, a whole group of us, and I think in 6 weeks they're all, quite a few of them are going away to Ibiza. Well, I know all of them, but I'm not invited because I'm in a different place now. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't feel, I mean, I don't want to go, to be honest. I don't even know I'm telling you this story. However, it's just feeling like you're missing out. Yeah, it is so true, Edward. Caterpillars never become butterflies without change. It's a classic metaphor. So you will change, and it's hard. People around you struggle, especially close people to you, can cause utter chaos in your life, which it has done for me. And it's painful, super duper painful, because you're going through transitions. And so it's important that you do a lot of inner work on yourself, in my opinion. And there's lots of things you can do, whether it is NLP, whether it's breath work. Super powerful. If you've ever done breath work, it's harnessing the breath to release negative emotions in the body. And what happens is we hold emotion in the body, and it gets into the fascia, which is the outer side of the body, and you hold it there. And quite often that's where diseases start from, because it's trapped emotion stuck in places in the body. That's what I've been taught. Think about what you're feeding your mind with. It's so important. So, for example, are you just binging on Netflix, or do you watch documentaries? Do you look at things that are interesting? Do you watch TED Talks? Because these things spark things in you. And I shared it before, but it's hard to say off the cuff, but that there's things you know that you know. So I know how to drive a car. And then there's things you know you don't know. So I know that I can't fly a fighter jet. I did try flying, actually, a normal plane when I was 15, but I couldn't go solo because you have to be 16. And the pilot said to me when I was practicing, "You're not on the M5, Claire, you can go down the middle." That's my little story. But anyway, I know I can't fly planes, but there's things you don't know that you don't know. So think about that. There's things I can't even say I don't know how to do them because I don't even know about them. And that is crazy. So a bit like I was saying about the copywriting, I didn't know that I didn't know that I couldn't copyright. Let's move on, Claire. I think we've got through that one. Okay, a tree. Very pretty, isn't it? So this is a good metaphor. Like, think about yourself as a tree, and you've got the branches off in the tree, and they're pretty much what your values are. So if you went for a run this morning, and if you cooked yourself a healthy breakfast, and if you listen to a podcast on your run, you can see from the actions that you take that you are, they're your values: health and growth, because you're learning. And what was the other one I said? I can't remember the other one. But look at you think of yourself as a tree, and that kind of represents what your values are. So look at the things you do. If you make a diary for a week and see the things, who you hang out with, what you do, you'll get to know what your values are. So you can see what I value by looking behind me. Because all these books around me are business books, personal development books. I think I might have seriously one fiction book. I must get into fiction. You feel as old as that tree. Oh dear, you. Oh dear. Me too sometimes, me too. So mine are growth and contribution. So I love helping people and I love growing. Most of the things I invest my time in. But entrepreneurship is not just about a strategy, because there's a book by Seth Godin, and it's called The Dip, and it says about how you're going along and you're like, and you're doing these things like, this is great, and then you're going to this dip, and that's where you think, oh, give up. And I actually thought about this morning. I was just thinking and pondering this morning, and I just thought, and I've thought it a few times, and I just thought, what, like, it's so easy just to have a normal job and just be able to just go to the job, come back, and then at the end of the month you get paid. Whereas I'm always thinking, like, okay, where am I going to make some more money from, or what things should I launch, or doing the book, or whatever it might be. That's why it's so important to have a purpose and have clarity around things. I'm laughing because I think my dog's snoring. She's so bored with me. She's like, Claire, shut up. Well, she doesn't call me Claire, she calls me Mummy. Although she doesn't speak, obviously, because she's a dog. But in my head, she calls me Mummy. Right. 80-20, 80% is mindset and 20% is the other. It's like, it really does matter. It really, really, really matters. And I've looked at this a long time over the years. I'm just like, it's so important that you have a grip on what's happening. And situations that present themselves to you, mainly it's a mirror. in my opinion, and from my own experience, it's a mirror. So if someone's really annoying you, it's probably because there's something inside you that is like triggering it. So if I'm triggering you this morning, it's probably you and not me. That's the line I'm going with. Dog just went, you are annoying me, mummy. Limiting beliefs, they hold you back so much. So when I spoke about being a child, you will pick things up. So my dad might have said to me, come on, you stupid girl, stop crying. And then I won't remember that now, but inside I think I'm a stupid girl because he shouted at me and said that to me when I was younger. So sorry, Dad, you probably didn't say that, but that's just a good example. So this is a really good book to look at about the big leap. And it talks about how we get to a ceiling. And then when we get to that ceiling, we can self-sabotage. So if you are trying to launch something new, maybe one of the things we do is we keep buying stuff or thinking, okay, I need more training. I need more training on this before I'm ready to launch. And the best thing you can do is launch because you get feedback from launching and you never really know until you launch something. So definitely look at that book. It's really quite good. And it's good to see where we do self-sabotage and why are we self-sabotaging. So maybe you've got money beliefs from being a child. So maybe if you were around, say money only money's only made by men, maybe that's makes you self-sabotage because you think men earn money and women don't. So human needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So this is what I was talking about earlier on. So at the bottom is physiological needs, air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. So they're all the things that keep us going. And these are what we need because without that we die. And then we have safety needs. So personal security, having a job, resources, health and property. So the next thing up. So this is why, for example, if you work in an organization and you don't agree with stuff that's going on, you might not challenge it because you think that if you challenge it, you could jeopardize your safety because you might lose your job and then you might lose your house and then you might lose your spouse and then you might end up on the street. And perhaps you haven't thought about it all through as deep as that, but that is definitely why we don't take actions, because we're trying to protect ourselves because safety is so important. That's why we can sometimes struggle with change because it's a shift. So I've got to move house and I wake up sometimes in the morning and I feel a little bit unsettled because it's safety and living in a certain place. You get to know that area. And then if you move, it's a new experience. And so that's why I know that I'm feeling a little bit worried about things because I'm moving house, even though I know it's going to be fine, but it's just because it's in that band of safety. Next up is love and belonging. And this is something that I believe, this is very much related to the work that is my passion, and that is about community building, because we need to feel love and belonging and we need to feel seen and heard. It's so important that we feel seen and heard. And definitely with the pandemic, there's a loneliness pandemic as well that we can't see, where people, and there was something on radio too, I don't know if anybody heard it the other day, about a guy where he phoned up to speak to Jeremy Vine, and he said, you're the first person I've spoken to in quite a few days. And I cried. Oh yeah, I do cry a lot. Yeah, I cried. I mean, I was on my own. I mean, I didn't sob, but it just brought a tear to my eyes. I was like, that is so sad. It's so sad. And then I thought I must do something, like start a community for people who don't have that connection, because it's so important. You can see how high it is up on this hierarchy. And then there's esteem, so self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, freedom, all those things that we want that make us feel, the ego making us feel how we want people to recognize us and have status and all the rest of it. And then right at the top is self-actualization. So that's the desire to become the most that one can be. So like, I don't know if anybody gets to self-actualization. So like I was saying, Eliud Kipchoge, is that how you say it? The only person to run a marathon in under 2 hours, said no human is limited. Great advice. Yeah. You know something? Thank you for sharing that, Mark. I watched the 14 Peaks. I think I might have said this last week. And he wanted to climb the 14 highest peaks, I think it was. And it was sort of said that he couldn't be done. He did it within 6 months, I think, as well. It was quite a quick time frame. And he called his project Project Possible. Isn't that the best name? Project Possible. Let's all have Project Possibles after today. Like, isn't that so amazing? Project Possible. Like, every time it's Project Possible, it's possible. And so often you hear people, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do this, but you can do it. I mean, it's everything. Most things are possible. Everything's possible. Oh, did I say anything about that? I think I spoke about that before, but procrastination, it keeps you safe from something. So maybe you don't do something because if you do it, you might be successful. Maybe you think that successful people don't have any friends because you learned it in childhood. Or maybe you procrastinate because of a wide range of subconscious beliefs. So it's about how you learn to stay safe. So thinking about that Maslow's hierarchy, what's going on in that unconscious mind. And that's why I've tried as well. Is it called hypnotherapy? Basically, they didn't do it like this, but you get the watch and go, look into my eyes, like that. There's nothing like that, but that's what I tried. So there's different modalities: breath work, hypnosis, that's what it's called. Look into my eyes, meditation, breath work, all of these things. They'll look into them. If one of them, if you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, look into it after this call, like Google it. Google does everything. And then there's deeper stuff, human design. So human design looks at how we work. It looks at the date we were born and maps out how we operate as a human. Super deep stuff, this. You might be like, no, this is not for me, or you might be interested. Soul plan. I'm actually a soul plan practitioner. I learned how to read soul plan. Soul plan this is a soul plan, and it's based around the name you're given at birth. And it says that name gives you certain energies. It's like the way you show up in the world. And when you work it out, it goes through this whole circle of the first 30 or 40 years of your life, and then after that time, and as you work towards spiritual goals and your soul destiny, and these numbers all mean stuff. And it's really freakily accurate. So I say no more. Yeah, that's good, Hugh. I like that. The automatic no. Lots of people do this because it's a safe answer. Yeah, no, no, no. I think Branson, he always says yes, doesn't he? And then there's the thing I talked about before, which is the hell yes and the hell no. So if it's a hell yes, go for it. Everything in the middle, so that's energy. So you want to avoid things in the middle because they zap energy. You need to move towards the hell yeses. Well, the hell no's, they're the easy ones. The Untethered Soul, this is like the first kind of vaguely kind of mindset, spiritual type book that I read, and it was a really good introduction. So I'm sharing it in case you've never heard of it. I bought it probably 4 or 5 times for people who thought I was crazy before, and then afterwards they're like, oh, actually, Claire. So there we go. Safety is definitely the comfort zone. That's the thing. It's scary to do anything. It's really scary. But then if you just stay in the safety zone, what's going to happen? 4 Agreements is a really good book. It's got it somewhere. No, I haven't. I have somewhere. I was going to read you a bit out of it. Oh, here it is. All right. 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word. So speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. That's the first agreement. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Because like people have got their own conditioning that goes on, and if you take it personally, it's because things have happened to them and they just see you through their lens. It's like they have put on their special sunglasses of their view of the world. The third one is don't make assumptions. So find the courage to ask questions to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. So don't assume anything. So, and the final one, this is why I love this book, always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. There you go, 4 agreements. Get that book. I think it's really, really good. And letting go, this is another good. This is deeper, but this is like around the pathway to letting go of your emotions. And it talks about if you're in emotions of guilt and fear and sadness, you kind of are on a certain level. And you know how if you had friends and they were I'm pausing because my keyboard says it's lost connection, which is not good. If you have friends, and I wrote about this actually on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago, I went away with some friends and there was a little bit of an issue between 2 of them. And even though it wasn't visually or audibly in front of us, you could feel it. And that's what I mean about this energy. You could feel it. You can feel it, can't you? If you walk into a room, you can feel it if there's an energy in there, bad energy. And this is about how you surrender the lower energies like guilt and shame and fear, and it moves you up to the next energy, because ultimately if you're at joy, you attract joyful experiences. So it's a really good book. That's a good question, Edward. Which has been the most profound, most impact on you of all my books? Letting go is. The Untethered Soul started me off on that journey. I really like black box thinking because it speaks about failure and how we can learn from failure. And I think it's not spoken enough about. So that's definitely it. I haven't heard of The Lazy Man's Way to Riches. I will look at that. Yeah, I think books find you where you are in your journey. So it just depends where you are, and then you're like, oh, that's really good, and you have to stop. I mean, I'm just crazy with books, crazy. Here's some really great books as well. They're concise books. They look good. They're really interesting. They're on all kinds of different topics. So definitely recommend them. Yeah, books. And if you don't like books, do Audible. There's actually a really good app. You do have to pay for it though. I cancelled it. It's called Lucid, and it condenses books, but visually condenses them. It's really, really good if you want to learn stuff. They have lots of books, see, all kinds of things. Do beekeeping. I also want you to remember that there's always something inside you. It might not actually be, you might think it has to be business related, but you could be like the best sourdough business in the whole of the UK, or, you know, creativity comes in different forms and we're all creative. So this is another good book, actually. I suppose these are the ones I've chosen, Edward, I guess. The Magic of Thinking Big. So this is a really good book. I really enjoyed it. I haven't read it for a while, but I did share it with somebody because I thought it was good. But it says about how you can do things differently. I mean, I read this years ago, I can still remember this, but like if, for example, so if I go to an exercise class or if I go to an event, I always sit. Where do you think I sit? Answer in the comments. If I go to an event or I go to a class at the gym, where do you think I sit? Let's see. Front and centre. Edward, front. Yes. Look, you know me. At the front. I'm at the front. So I went to this business event and I put my hands up and I'm shaking because I'm scared, and I spoke up, and it was actually the guy who makes the sausages called The Black Farmer, his brand is called, and he set up, I don't know, it's a brand, you can buy it in Sainsbury's and all the other shops. Yeah, exactly, at the front. And I put my hand up, and then he kept choosing me, and then as an example, because he said I was brave because I left being a solicitor, and then after that, he came up to me at the end, and then we went to have some coffee, and then we were setting up a business together. I know, just only some MBE stuff, but then we had the COVID malarkey. But that's because I sat at the front. So everybody here, I want you all to sit at the front, the next thing. So some people sit at the back, but don't sit at the front. Yeah, Black Farmer Sausages. What's his name now? Wilfred Emmanuel. That's him. So he lives in Devon. So that's how I met him. But that's just at the front. I'm glad you all know me. You all know me. Ed was a little bit cheeky, centre and front. But we can go for that. Magic of thinking big, really good. Are they your favourite sausages? See these connections. You meet people. He's got a really good story actually about how he got to where he was going. So really, really good. So are you an optimist or a pessimist? So who in here is an optimist? Come on, let's find out. Let's see who all you are. Me, yay, Alan's an optimist. Come on, I'm always like this. But yeah, we'll find something else. And it's annoying as well, because I'll say, if something happens and the children say this happened, I say, well, maybe they were having a bad day, or maybe that's why they did this. I might look on the optimistic side. And then I'll go, so annoying, this happened. They went, Mummy, maybe they're having a bad day. It's really annoying. Look, excellent. We've got lots of optimists in the house. This is super, super good. Lots and lots of optimists. Super good. I'm always hyped, so it's obvious. I feel like I've got to meet you guys. I'm like, I hate just talking to myself. I want to speak to you. So I'm glad we've got lots of optimists. So routine. Who has a morning routine? Let me know. What's your morning routine? So morning routines are, so people do exercise. 4:30, Edward? What's happening at 4:30? That's crazy. What do you do? Because it creates a discipline. So if you get up and it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to go and swim with the dolphins and meditate for 3 hours and all that kind of stuff. It can just be something small. Billy is an optimist. Excellent. You've got no one to impress but yourself, but you get up, maybe you write down something to be grateful for. That could be really good. Sets you up right in the right mindset. Do you say what you're going to do? So for example, going to do my dad would be like, Claire, the T on the end of that. There isn't ongoing, but because if you say I'm going to go to the gym and then the alarm goes off at 6, you're like, nah, I'll turn it off. You are only lying to yourself and you don't trust yourself in other decisions. So it's really, really important that you do what you say you're going to do. So because it just creates that what's the word, trust in yourself. Because if you don't say what you're going to do, how are you going to expect anybody else to say what they're going to do? So let's have a look. Okay, Mark takes a missus to work. I love it how you call her the missus. Where do you live? I love that. 5:30, that's early. Life happens at 4 a.m, but you're more productive when it programs your subconscious mind. I like to train first thing. That's really good, Edward. I love variation. Yesterday on a beach, as the sun comes up roughly, you lot are all my friends. I could hang out with you lot. It sounds fun. 4:30 a.m, get up for meditation and yoga. Yes, Janice, this is great. Exercise, YouTube at 5:40. You've got, this is why you're here. 5:40 a.m, get children ready for school. It's a big deal, isn't it? The children stuff. Yes, we always fall out about that. One of my children is never ready. Define morning routine. Badly disrupted by our kitchen being dismantled. Yes. Yeah. I mean, there is no actual definition of a morning routine, but kind of gets you into the blueprint of the day but gets you into the day. So maybe it is exercise, maybe it's something else. Meditation's good because it frees your mind up. It can really reduce stress. I've been doing meditation. Actually, I do it on Insight Timer, which is free, but I think I'm on 568 days or something like that. So I just do that every day. So it's really, really good. It gives you more ideas and more creativity. So your tomorrow is defined by your today. So the actions that you're taking today will create the results that come tomorrow. So it's kind of, it's really important what you do on a daily basis, because sometimes we think we have to do really huge results or big steps, but we don't actually have to do massive steps. We can do little steps. So those little steps do add up, and it's easier to do because then you can get the momentum. How do you kick yourself to do what you say you're going to do? I think the best way to kickstart doing things is to do something small that you can super do. So say you want to get into exercise, can you just go for a walk? And even if that is walk to the end of the road and back, you've done it, because you just made that small step. So you just go out your front door and walk to the end of the road and back. Don't say I'm going to go for an hour to the gym, because it's too much of a commitment, and then you let yourself down. Because yeah, life is difficult at times, and there's lots of things going through attention, you've got stuff to do. And then say you want to learn and grow more, just listen to 5 minutes of a podcast, something that's really not a big commitment, and then go from there. So what's the eek on the graphic? That's me going eek, like that. Your tomorrow is defined by your today. It's scary, isn't it? Like, what are you doing today is going to affect tomorrow. That's what the eek's for. I don't know why I put the eek, to be honest. Yeah, small steps to begin with. Right. Discipline is freedom. So dabbling is misery. These are profound quotes I've come up with, haven't I? I didn't know I was feeling so profound the day I wrote these. But yeah, discipline gives you freedom because you know what you're doing. If you dabble with stuff, it's miserable. You don't really know what you're doing. You're not seeing any progression. But say you want to start showing up. So LinkedIn, I've shared this loads of times. I decided, right, I'm going to show up every day. And I've showed up every day since 20th of December. And quite often I just share somebody else's post or just do something small, but it just gets me into that discipline of creating content. So if you dabble in something, you do a bit, like say you want to get fit and you do a bit there, and then you don't do anything for 3 weeks, and then you go through. It's yeah, it's kind of a yeah, it's not setting you up for success, is what I'm saying. So yeah, fluffy, Edward, fluffy, that's what it is. And we don't do fluffy, apparently, do we? So, well, sorry, fluffy. I know, fluffy. We like fluffy. Fluffy is like the way the world works. So yeah, dabbling is easy. Well, hard. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about now. I'm just right. Okay. An inch is progress. So celebrate the wins. So if you do that walk, like just give yourself a pat on the back. So let me just do this. Hold on. Right. So, okay. I'm trying to talk and type. Okay. Right. So, little wins add up. It's really important. So the discipline is the bridge from dream to accomplishment, because then you'll feel amazing. So, for example, I said like this week that I signed up on this book. Now, the book came from my community, and someone within the community said she wanted to create a book. Well, she didn't say that. She said she wanted to create a magazine, which became a book, which I had to lead the whole thing. And when she spoke to me about it, I just couldn't envisage how it would work. I just didn't know how we were going to do it. And she just said, just trust the process. And it was really hard to lean into it. But yesterday it got signed off. It went to the printers. It's going to be an amazing book. It's going to be really beautiful. And it shares so many stories of leaders. And without doing that book, people wouldn't have had a space to share their stories. And for me, other leaders will read that book and they will connect with the stories, and it will help them on their journey. So, and that came from that discipline of leaning into it. And it moves from just being a dream to actually being an accomplishment. And it's going to feel amazing to hold that book. So definitely you need to lean into these things and just take it step by step. John says, a dream needs a vision. It's a picture of passionate future. Yeah, exactly. You need to feel into it. You need to feel like that you are on, you know, you've got a pathway and you've got a place to go and you're moving forward with it. It's really, really important. So you create your own reality is what I believe. So you've got conscious beliefs and you've got your unconscious beliefs and experiences, and you create that by the things that you do. So the people who are around you, the way your mindset is. Like if you said, if you thought about yellow cars, you'd start seeing yellow cars. Or if you want to buy a new Mini, you'd keep seeing Minis on the road because your mind is set up to recognize things. So be careful about what you're thinking about, and because you will recognize that. So if, you know, when I was saying about I really wanted to work with Daniel Priestley, I didn't hold tight onto it, because if you hold tight onto things, you don't let the freedom of life and opportunities take their effect. You have to just let it be free and let it sort of, you have to allow things to develop in the way they need to develop. So, but yeah, I definitely believe you create your own reality. So don't be most people. So most people don't come to Saturday school. Most people don't listen to podcasts. Most people gossip about other people. Well, not most people, but you know, like the things I'm saying in this book, like stuff in this book, like most people don't read these kind of books. They just don't do it. So try and help yourself to be a better version of yourself. Because it's good for you and it's good for the people who are around you as well. So definitely think about that. So get clear on your vision, your goals, and your purpose. You've totally got this. You totally have. And that's what we said at the beginning of the presentation. You've got all these things. So you've totally got it. Right. Now I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to show you a video. So let's have a look if I can do this. You have to tell me if you can see my screen in a moment. Can you see my screen? I can't see you though. I'm like, where's my chat gone? I can't see you. Where are we? Well, there you are. Yes, you could see my screen. Could you see? I don't know how to move you. Okay. I can't see my chat box. Oh, there you are. There's my chat box. Right. Can you see my YouTube? My YouTube? Yeah. Excellent. Okay. I'm just going to share this video with you. Right.
These are roughly 28,835 jelly beans. I counted out 500 of them and used those to weigh the rest. In this pile, there's one jelly bean for each day that the average American will live. You might have more beans in your life, or maybe less, but on average, this is the time we have. Here's a single bean. It's your very first day. A special day, but kind of a rough day on everyone involved. Add 364 more and you have the first year of your life. Now, for a sense of scale, here are your first 15 years, 5,475 days, which brings us to the threshold of adulthood. And at that moment, this is the time that we have left. And this is, on average, what we will do with all that time. We will be asleep for a total of 8,477 days. If we're lucky, some of that time we'll be sleeping next to someone we love. We will be in the process of eating, drinking, or preparing food for 1,635 days. We'll be at work, hopefully doing something satisfying, for the equivalent of 3,202 of those days. 1,099 days will be spent commuting or traveling from one place to another, maybe a little bit more if you live in LA. On average, we will watch television in one form or another for a total of 2,676 days. Household activities like chores and tending to our pets and shopping will take another 1,576 days. And we will care for the needs and well-being of others, our friends and family, for 564 days. We'll spend 671 days bathing, grooming, and doing all other bathroom-related activities. And another 720 days will go to community activities like religious and civic duties, charities, and taking classes. After we remove all those beans, this is what remains. This is the time that we have left. Time for laughing, swimming, making art, going on hikes, text messages, reading, checking Facebook, playing softball, maybe even teaching yourself how to play the guitar. So what are you going to do with this time? How much of it do you think you've already used up? If you only had half of it, what would you do differently? What about half of that? How much time have you already spent worrying instead of doing something that you love? What if you just had one more day? What are you going to do today?
Right. So, the time you have in jelly beans. I thought I'd share that with you to finish today's presentation, to make you think not to waste a single jelly bean. Don't waste a single one because you don't know how many you've got. And yeah, keep a positive mindset with things, and you're doing super well.